Hi there, my name is Suze. I work with women to help them find balance between their internal masculine and feminine energies so that they can feel really emotionally fulfilled in their lives and have a lot of love and connections surrounding them. So, I recently on my website did a blog around why affirmations don't always work. And this was one of the things that was revealed to me years ago in my journey. Um, I want to say right when I just started really stepping into spirituality. My personal growth, my journey started as personal growth, right? It started with my physical body, healing my physical body, and then from there worked into the mind space of mindsets, affirmations, neuroplasticity. I did some work in that. It was all this mental kind of thing, right? And then it started shifting into this more spiritual realm. And so affirmations and mantras started coming forward. And so, I got stuck in that groove of saying these like affirmations over and over and then creating other affirmations. And I noticed how sometimes the affirmations seem to work, right? Like seem to help me get me where I was trying to go. And then some other times it just was like I just felt like I was just saying these words and they weren't actually getting me any there or anywhere, or they didn't feel like they were creating any kind of impact or transformation, right? In particular for me with my journey, I often think of the one like I am worthy. I think of that one because that one for me tripped me up for the longest time. And I was like, I got to this point where I felt like I was sitting there and I'm like, yeah, I can tell myself all day long I am worthy. But if I don't feel it, if I'm not doing the things I know I'm supposed to be doing as a high worth person, clearly it's not working, right? And so it can get really frustrating when we have these people, telling you all these affirmations and like sometimes they work and sometimes they don't work. Well, we need to be talking more about effective affirmations and why particular ones may not be seeming to work for you. And here's the thing. Maybe the affirmation isn't working for you now. Maybe it's supposed to work for you later. But the gap between where you are now and where you're trying to go with the affirmation, the gap is too big. So you have to build a bridge. Take it down a notch. I often talk about these YouTube videos and I tend to get wordy and go on and on. So I had to set an intention as I started these YouTube videos that I was going to make these as little bite-sized videos to put seeds out there to create some shifts with some other people and for them to see things a little bit differently or to have helpful things to plug into their lives. And so I'm going to bring that in here too. If you're in one place and you're recognizing you want to be somewhere else, you're going to have to back it up into little bite sizes. You can't go from A to Z. You have to go through each letter of the alphabet sometimes to get to Z, because sometimes Z feels like it's forever away from you, right? So let's take that into consideration and peel back these layers a little bit, right? So if you've gone down the spiritual path, you may have heard of someone, Abraham Hicks, right? Or you may have heard of the thought process of resistance, right? If we're in resistance to something, or it's not going to happen, right? Or your manifestations come when there's the least amount of resistance, or Rumi, one of my favorite poets, right? Rumi talking about love is simply just removing the obstacles that are blocking you from receiving the love, right? It's all the idea of like challenges or resistance or blockages, and that's all it is. Everything you want is right there. You're just not able to access it or manifest it or see it in your physical reality because there's some kind of resistance or struggle, right? So if you're looking at affirmations in that kind of a frame, back it up a little bit. If I have all this junk in my life, of all these negative life experiences that have taught me something that I'm now trying to rewrite and create something different, I'm going to have to baby step myself out of this. So Instead of just saying a huge blanket statement of I am worthy, for example, that's just the one that's coming to mind today because I got hung up on that one for years, right? I am worthy. It feels like too big of a gap. So, what is something maybe you could pull it back to that feels more believable? And I mean, this is psychology, you guys. It's not just spiritual concepts. It's like this is psychological. Your brain knows when you're lying to yourself. So you can sit there and stare in the mirror at yourself all day long and say, I am worthy. But if you have all this internal junk that's telling you you're not worthy, your brain knows you're lying to yourself and it's not going to believe it. So you're not going to have the shifts you're looking to have. So forget about those big visions of yourself of where you're trying to go for a hot second. That's a lot of pressure sometimes. Sometimes it's a lot of pressure. Take yourself off of that and bring it home to something that feels a little bit more believable in this moment. That's all it is. What are things that you could be saying that are empowering or encouraging or affirmations or mantras that you can actually believe, that you can grasp onto as an actual possibility? What is possible to me right here, right now? So instead of saying maybe, I'm trying to think of a good example. So instead of saying I am worthy, what if you're saying I am open to seeing the things that are blocking me from feeling worthy? I am open to seeing where I have held myself back from a life where I feel worthy or I am worthy. Those are just some examples for the whole worthiness thing. But what is something you can believe right now? I think that affirmations are such powerful tools, but if we're not putting them in the correct framework, they're just going to fall flat and we're just going to be internally causing more resistance and craziness for ourselves. The path of least resistance is about being realistic and accepting where you are right now and what you need right now that would feel like one baby crawl to the next thing. That's what it is. We put so much pressure about getting to an end destination in a particular way or a very linear way or a very quick way. And if it isn't happening fast enough, we then start internalizing that in a variety of different ways, and then we're going nowhere. Side note, that's just another aspect of masculine healing. The wounded masculine is rushing. The wounded masculine is trying to get somewhere faster than it's supposed to be. So letting go of some of that and relaxing with where you are. What do I need that would feel really supporting for myself right here? What can I tell myself that would feel really assuring, validating for my current experience, and yet helps me move one baby step closer to where I'm trying to go? It's not about one fell swoop. It's the baby steps. I often talk with my clients about that, about how it's so funny. It's interesting as humans, we're so willing to understand that when a baby is born, it can't do anything, right? A baby is born and it just sleeps. And then the baby rolls over. And then the baby can hold its head up on its belly, have tummy time, right? And then the baby starts crawling and moving. And then the baby starts grabbing up onto things and pulling himself up to a stand. And then maybe he starts trying to walk, but he falls 10 million times when trying to learn how to walk. It's the same thing with our internal journey. It's never you're born and then you run a marathon. It's you're born, you do nothing, and then you slowly start moving forward to even just walk. So can we be a little bit more loving, self-loving, self-compassionate, self-validating? I did a video earlier about validation and how I feel validation is it's such an important thing. Validation is everything, and we so underestimate the power of it, and we connect such a shame-based connotation to validation of like, oh, you're not supposed to ask for validation. And it's getting us in these loops, and we got to get out of this shame-based thinking, these shame-based connotations on these words that are actual needs in our journey. They are things you need in your journey. That right there is validation for you, validating the validation. So I'm going to leave that here. I hope that helped. Please take that back. Think about your affirmations and what you're telling yourself. Does it feel like too big of a stretch? Does it feel like there's a part of you that's just like, you're a big fat liar? This is not working. It's not actually helping me progress in my journey. How can I pull it back? Another one too that I really liked, I want to just leave this one because this has been one affirmation that I come back to all the time when I'm going through really hard times in my life and it feels like I'm in a low. I'm in a low, or I'm really struggling with something, or I'm really working through something that feels really hard to me. And you may feel a sense of deflation from like you were maybe in a better space and then it feels like you kind of went backwards on your journey and it's really, really hard and dark. And so sometimes these big, grand mantras or affirmations, they just feel so icky and so far out there. And so one affirmation that I consistently come back to for myself is everything is going to be okay. Sometimes when you're at the bottom of the barrel, that's all you can handle and that's all you can swallow. Everything is going to be okay, and just breathe. So I hope this video helped. Please do look in the description box below for my services and anything else you may want to learn about me. Please like and subscribe if you found some value in this video. I would deeply appreciate that, and have a beautiful day. Bye-bye.